Welcome to today's podcast, Healing Through Love, with Dr. Matt Singer, a holistic medicine specialist with an expertise in energy work, homeopathy, and works with people all around the world to help them remove emotions trapped in the body. And co-host Holly Celiano, a mother, intuitive healer, and well known to international audience as a resource for truth seekers on a variety of global concerns that are currently impacting humanity. Today's focus, ROLFING, reducing pain and muscle tension and improving posture.
Hello, everybody. I am Holly Celiano, and I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Matthew Singer. And today we have a special guest, Anna Woodruff from Effortless Posture ROLFING. So Anna is a rolfer, and what is very interesting with what she does is working the myofascial tissue. It releases trapped energy, which is stored, or trapped emotions stored in the body, which is also similar to what Dr. Singer does. So Anna, why don't you go in, for those that are not familiar with what ROLFING is, explain what it is and what you have found in your practice.
So ROLFING, the most general way I can explain it is a chiropractor adjusts your bones, or rolfer adjusts your muscles. So what we do is we focus on your fascia. We're differentiating muscles from each other. We're asking you to do a movement. That way we're retraining your body to have more ease and less pain. What I found in my practice is with the ROLFING 10 series, each session works on a different part of the body. So we're stacking on top of the last session. And by doing that, we're breaking down layer by layer. And depending on your age, if you're a child, it may only take one session because they're not stuck in a pattern. But if you're over 50, it may take more than 10 sessions. You might need a couple of 10 series to get through to the deeper layers, but I find it's very beneficial for everybody.
So for those that don't know what fascia is, can you explain what that is?
Sure, it's connective tissue. So fascia is wrapped around bones, muscles, nerves, and organs. It kind of looks like a spider web in your body. So if you broke a bone, or maybe you had birthing trauma where you have issues with your fascia, it'll impinge, and then that spider web will pull on different parts of your body. So where most people feel pain, that area of pain isn't necessarily what's causing the pain. It's usually coming from somewhere else, from that fascia.
Yeah. Interesting.
So explain what you have found in your practice with the trapped emotions as you're doing your ROLFING sessions.
Oh, that's interesting. So with fascia, the body keeps the score. So if something traumatic has happened to us in our lives, the emotions, our brain can't handle everything. So it will trickle it down into your body somewhere. So for example, how can I explain this? For example, if you've always been beaten down as a kid, just emotionally from your parents, always negative, you could be feeling some sort of blockage in your heart, and that fascia gets blocked. So we got to move the fascia away from your ribs, or away from the lungs, away from the heart. Maybe your esophagus is stuck. Everything's connected. So going layer by layer really helps to get rid of the emotions. And they could be very deep in your body.
So what areas of the body do you see the most when you're in practice with restriction?
What areas of the body with restriction? That depends. I feel like one of my teachers in school, they would always say it depends. I would say mostly the organs, actually. Just the food we eat, that can get stuck, and also the emotions, because they travel to the organs also. Yeah, definitely the organs.
Do you find neck and shoulder a lot of restrictions there?
I find neck and shoulder with people who are very stressed, It's like they're holding the weight of the world on their shoulders.
Yes.
People who are very defensive, they always have like their fighting fists up. I find their forearms are very tight.
Mhm.
Yeah, mine's going blank.
Now, what areas do you see a lot when the thyroid's related?
Where the thyroid?
Yeah, what areas of the body do you see
Thyroid.
connected to thyroid?
So thyroid, I usually see the kidneys definitely connected with it,
Mm-hmm.
the ovaries in women,
Mm-hmm.
and the bladder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
So just to give a little background, Anna is my rolfer. I have done 4 10 series with Anna to release all the trapped emotions and to free up my body from all the surgeries that I have had.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been, for me, one of the most transformative things that I've ever done on my healing journey. So I think I am probably the only one that's done 4 10 series with you at this point.
Yeah, you got it going on.
So,
I have
You're
a lot of,
probably the straightest person I've seen.
I'm
so
sorry,
Holly,
say that
quick
again.
question. So when you were having the ROLFIng, I know how amazing ROLFIng is, and I know the power of it. Did you feel a lot of trapped emotions releasing?
It's interesting. So the first 2 series, I did not. The third series, I did. And this last fourth series, I did also.
Mm-hmm.
I had done a lot of emotional clearing work prior to doing the Rolfing. So the first 2 series was more working on releasing just tight muscles because Anna couldn't get really deep initially, those first 2 series. The third series, she could go so much deeper, and that's where the emotions were. They weren't on the surface level
Mm-hmm.
where a lot of people might have them on the surface level. And then by the fourth one, it was really deep. I mean, she was able to go all the way to the bone,
Yeah.
and that was intense.
So, Annika, can I ask you some neat questions? Because I, as you know, I'm a doctor as well. I'm fascinated with this. When someone has, let's say, trauma that relates to, let's say, their mother, and then you have I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Trauma relates to their mother, but then another person relates to their father. Do you tend to see specific organs as it relates to female energy versus male energy more?
Not specific organs, but I'm gonna say specific sides of the body. So with the father, more on the right side, with the mother, more on the left side.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So when it comes to the right side, and then you're releasing those parts of the body, do you see a lot of emotional release on the person you're working on?
I do. Some people are more willing to cry or let go of like a scream or just sit with it and kind of let it like bubble, I'm gonna say. Other people I can tell they're kind of hiding the emotion, which isn't good. They should let it out, but our society teaches us not to, show your emotions. So
Yes,
I wish they were more willing to let it go.
exactly. Especially when they've been trained as a young child, don't show your emotions.
Yeah.
Put up with it, just take it. That's fascinating. So, Holly,
So for people that are not familiar with this, I would like you to maybe go into deeper how this can affect their health, why this is important to do, not only for relieving trapped emotions, but what you see with especially elderly. When you see an elderly person hunched over and they have that hump on their back, that's their myofascia all pressing in and condensing because it becomes hard and brittle. So if you want to explain how that affects the body and the flexibility.
Okay, so with the elderly, gravity is pulling them down. And with rolfing, we actually want gravity to flow through you. Because when gravity is flowing through us, all of our chakras are in line, all the meridians are in line. We're more in balance, we're more one with the universe when we're in line with gravity just flowing through us. So the older generation, I just feel like they were never taught to focus on their bodies.
Right.
It's sad. I find they're like hunched over because they're protecting their hearts, and it's just the world is weighing on them. And it's so good to have confidence in yourself and have that alignment with the universe, and just realize that we're all one here. We're all together.
Yeah, you're
But
absolutely right.
don't you see though, when you do the body work, you see the elderly stand tall and you can reshape their body because you're releasing that hardened myofascia.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. It's interesting. I feel like rolfing has a lot of aspects. So not only are we focusing on the physical realm, the emotional realm, but then there's this journey that people go through with rolfing also. So it's interesting working on any age group, but this journey that we go through, it actually helps you find your purpose here. Especially with the elderly, it's like they find a new purpose for life instead of just being stuck in their ways.
So, and a quick question. So when we're getting back to talking about some of the elderly or some of the people who are more hunched over, and we're talking about the chakras and the energy systems with the chakras and what they control. So if you were to take somebody who meditates a lot and really opens up their chakras versus someone like you were just talking about who is not in touch with that part of their body, when someone's really in tune and meditates a lot, and you're working on them, tell me, like, do you feel a difference with working on someone like that who's really in tune with their body?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I feel like there's less layers that I have to go through. I actually feel like I could get deeper the first time around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when you're working on someone, how do you know that it's cleared? Like, what do you feel in your body? Like, do you feel it on the muscle, on the person, or do you feel it within you as well? Like confirmation from them that's telling you that it cleared?
I'm gonna say both. I feel like the more I work on people, the more I'm starting to feel energy. So definitely getting more in tune with that. But also their tonus, their muscle tonus, I could feel if it's gonna let me in or if it's a brick wall and I just have to hang out there and kind of let it melt away, let the emotions come out of the body, all that good stuff.
Yeah. It's a beautiful feeling when you can feel their energy also. Yes.
Definitely.
Well, since I started going to Anna was new at this, but through the course of years, she has gotten so much more in tune with the body. Like when I am on her table, she definitely tunes in and knows exactly what is releasing, when it's releasing. And that's amazing. So do you see children? Do you see young children besides elderly?
Yeah, I actually had a baby a couple weeks ago. And with babies, we don't work as long. We only work like 15 minutes with them. That was interesting because they'll change instantly. They're not stuck in any sort of pattern.
So why would
it was
somebody bring a
rewarding.
baby? Why would somebody bring a baby?
So the baby, she she had under her tongue clipped because she couldn't breastfeed properly. And from doing that, I guess her body went into a trauma where she ended up with torticollis, where her head was tilted and looking the opposite way. So I did some fascia release with that, and she got straighter. She
Amazing.
definitely, as a baby, she knew something was wrong. She was definitely kind of crying here and there, like she definitely knew something was wrong with her.
It's really interesting in that subject dealing with babies. They are so in tune. They are geniuses. They'll take the hurts on of the parents. And what's interesting is um, when I'm working on people, also there's ways to go back in the womb and find out at that exact moment when that stressor occurred. So do you ever find when you're working on a mother who's pregnant or who just delivered, you must find a lot of interesting points there, right?
Yeah, I worked on a woman. She had given birth to her fourth child, and I'm palpating her, and I noticed that she has no organs on the right side of her body. They were all on the
Mhm.
left. So obviously
Mhm.
that's how she was carrying the babies, mostly on the right. It took about 3 sessions, but I got her organs to move back over. And as soon as they moved back over, her stomach just shrunk right back up. It
Mhm.
was amazing.
Yeah, it
Wow.
really is amazing.
So I found it fascinating to bring you two together because, Matt, you work with people dealing with emotions on trapped emotions stored somewhere in the body. And Anna, you're physically working on removing trapped emotions. So the two of you work in tandem doing the same thing, but um, I don't know if there is a benefit, um, the physical versus the emotional that you just do, Matt. What do you think about that, both of you?
So, what I see is when we can release the emotional first, then the physical is a lot easier to change. So that's where it works really well. We can get in, we can find the origin of an emotional, a trapped emotion, and to find out what organ it's connecting to and release it emotionally and energetically. Then when you're doing Ralphing or you're doing, let's say I'm doing ART or something like that, um, that's where you see it so much easier to move the energy. Have you seen that, Anna?
Yes, I agree. I find when I work on people with PTSD, I can't break through their physical body. They really need more emotional work than just what I'm doing. I find I'll work on them, they get a little bit looser, and then they come back in next week, and it's like I'm starting all over again. So they definitely need to work on the emotional first before
Mhm.
I can actually help them.
Yeah. Yes.
So
Absolutely.
basically what you're saying is if they do the emotional work first and relieve the trapped emotions, then when you do your work, it's kind of lasting.
Yes, yeah. And then, of course, we'll still find more emotions within the fascia because they're there. But when there's somebody with PTSD coming in, it's too many emotions. It's too much for me to work through.
Yeah, it's multiple layers. We have to take it layer by layer. And what's interesting is I've seen a lot of trapped emotions with trapped viruses attached to those emotions, and then that's going to make the fascia and the physical even tighter.
I have a question for you, Matt. What do you find with cancer patients and their emotions?
Great question. The biggest is a deep hurt, a long-standing resentment, like emotions like what's the use anymore? Kind of like
Mm.
giving up on life. The energy of they've didn't have someone took their voice away for so long. They're feeling powerless. Those are the types of energies I see show up when we're dealing with a cancer patient. The feeling as though they're powerless, but there's nothing they can do about it. Feeling it is what it is. I'm stuck. Uh, those are the kind of stuck energies I see a lot with cancer patients. And when we can get them to release it, the most interesting thing is I'll be testing a patient with cancer, and like I'll do a muscle testing, and I'll ask their body, does this cancer serve me? And 9 out of 10 times they'll say yes, but they won't psychologically know it, but it's serving them because in a way it's an escape. So I had one of the most interesting cases about 10 years ago. I had a patient with a cancer, and I was working on her and I was asking, does it serve me? And before, I was asking her body, but then she said it does. I said, well, tell me how. She said, well, my husband cheats on me. And since she got this diagnosis, he started paying attention to her. And she said, I don't want this to go away because if it does, he's going to go back and start cheating on me again. So for the first time, I feel loved. So, I mean, that's how deep it goes.
And it's interesting, having had cancer, what you said, people feel, that's exactly what I felt at that time.
So when we were able to empower her and get her to realize that she was the love, everything changes. It opens up that door, which then she says, I'm going to allow myself to heal. And then her healing powers come out.
You were going to
That's
say
awesome.
something, Anna?
I just said that was awesome.
Oh, yeah, something to say on cancer patients that you have seen.
That I've seen in here. I just feel like a lot of it is they just don't love themselves. They don't love their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as you and I have talked, Matt, it all is about love. I mean, that people just don't love themselves. We're not taught how to love ourselves. And,
Yes.
you know, it affects the physical body, then it affects the emotional body, the mental body, the spiritual body.
Mm-hmm.
And if we just learn to love ourselves, then we can heal anything.
Absolutely, Holly, you're so right. And I know we've talked about this a lot, that when we have a false belief that we can't love ourselves, then the ego says, well, the love has to come from somewhere, right? I'm sure, Anna, you've seen this also. So if we're waiting for the love to come from somewhere else, we're waiting for someone to approve of us, we're waiting for a spouse to acknowledge us, or a spouse to make us feel important, a parent to make us feel loved. And if we're waiting for that and it doesn't happen, then that love goes from unconditional to condition-based love. And now that circumstance of them feeling unloved perpetuates more stress. And then the body eventually says, I can't do this anymore.
Yes. Anna, do you see that with people?
Oh, definitely. Any sort of pain they have, it's like it could be an excuse for them, so people will pay attention to them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And not everybody, but I find with some people it's like that.
Yes. You know, and it's so amazing because the body is so amazing. It really, I've seen that the body is such an amazing healing machine. It really knows how to heal. It wants to stay healthy. It knows how to stay healthy. When we put that stressor above the body, we make that stressor more prevalent or more important than the body, then that's where we see the natural innate ability to heal kind of take a step back, and then the stressor takes over, and then that's where the body can't maintain its health. So when we can get the shift in perception and get the person to realize that they are the source, they're the healer, they're the power, that's where we start to see the magic turn on.
Mm-hmm.
So what has been the biggest aha for you doing this work with people?
Myself. The biggest aha. Well, I find, because I've worked in Colorado also, I find the area we live in is very stressful, very stressful. I find people out here in New Jersey, they have no sense of embodiment. Like they're so caught up in the stresses and the go, go, go that they have a hard time just feeling their feet on the floor. It's an interesting environment that we live in here.
And I couldn't agree more with you. You're so right. So what was the energy like in Colorado when you were there? What did it feel like?
Colorado, I feel like because the temperature is more bearable for people, everybody's outside. Everybody's outside hiking, bringing their dogs everywhere. Even the snow, when you're up in the mountains, people are doing stuff in the mountains, and I don't know, there's just more nature out there. In New Jersey, it's hard to find nature. I mean, we have it, but you have to drive half an hour or an hour to get to it. It's not close.
Absolutely.
So you're saying for people, being out in nature is key to their health and to healing.
Yeah, to their embodiment, to feel their bodies. When we're stuck inside all day on the computer, we've lost ourselves. We have no orientation with gravity. We don't feel it anymore. We start to hunch over on the computer. It's amazing what being outside does. It really is. Everything's connected. We're all one. We all need gravity flowing through us. We need to go outside. We need fresh air. We need the ground beneath us. We need the sky above us. We're like a tree.
Yes. It's so true. That's why I find grounding is so powerful. Getting, hiking, reconnecting with nature is so powerful.
Yeah, I'm outside as much as I can because it just is a mental and physical embodiment where you feel so much better. Like being in nature is so healing.
Absolutely. So healing.
Yes. So what do you have to say to listeners that are not familiar with this? Would you, tell them how to go find a rolfer in their area and what it would do for them, the benefits of this?
So to find a rolfer is pretty easy. You could go to rolf.org and just click find a rolfer, and they'll pop up everywhere. They're even out in Europe and Australia and South America. The benefit of this, I mean, you're physically feeling better, you're getting the emotions out, you're even with your purpose on this planet. I think everybody should try it. It helps you feel your body. It helps you to be more confident in your own meat suit, as we call it. It's great for everybody.
It really is. I can attest to that also, because when I was in school, when I was in chiropractic school, we would there was a couple clubs we would practice on each other, and it really is powerful. It's and also it allows me, when I was getting it done, to really get outside of my physical body and really get in touch with my inner body. It really is very, very powerful.
It is. I can attest. It has been one of the most transformative things for me in my healing. When I met you, Anna, I had just had surgery and my muscles were all yanked up into my neck, pulling my head forward by 3 inches and getting a hunchback. And you were able to bring everything back into alignment by breaking down that myofascia.
Yes, I've seen you change so much, Holly. And I feel like you've grown, and your purpose for life has grown so much too.
Absolutely. Yes. And there's been, from doing all this work with you through the years and with you, Matt, there is a confidence and you just feel empowered inwardly and outwardly. And you carry yourself with that empowerment. Because when the body's trapped with all these emotions, it weighs you down. You don't feel light.
Yeah, absolutely. The way I would look at it when I was having it done in school is like I was literally allowing that negative energy to be stripped off from me. Just like when we're gardening, we're stripping off that top layer so we can allow the new growth. So it's like allowing new growth to occur.
Basically pulling out the weeds in the body. Like when you're doing that rolfing, you're yanking out the weeds that are stuck, that everything can't be connected in the proper way because of those trapped emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Allowing the
So,
tree to grow.
so Anna, let me ask you another question. When it comes to the body, when it comes to Rolfing, are there certain foods that you feel resonate with the body very well?
Resonate.
Mhm.
That's interesting. I actually feel like any sort of vegetable or nut that actually looks like an organ or a part of our body is really good for us.
So, for
Like
example,
carrot,
um, like a walnut.
that's your
Like
brain, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. The carrots are your eyes. I mean, it's
Mhm.
kidneys help your kidneys.
Right,
I feel like
absolutely.
food can help us in a lot of ways.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, it's so fascinating.
So, any last things you want to say as far as wrapping up, Anna, for everybody that's listening?
Actually, Anna, to wrap up, can you tell me your most memorative story, the one that just stays in your mind, that it is the most inspiring, the thing that makes you want to do this every day, that just inspires you to do this? What is the one thing that just, when you think about it,
When
is
I think Well, immediately I go to Holly just because I worked on her so many times. Um, yeah. So the last 10 series we did, I do this thing where I find the person's neutral. So that's their position where they're most comfortable in. And Holly's, her neutral was dead center. And I have not felt that yet on anybody. So I was very impressed with myself at how centered she is.
Well, we did a lot
That's,
of
yeah,
work.
that's my most memorable.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
we
did.
did a lot of work. And I
It's
feel you
worth
did.
it. I mean, I understand. Yeah. I understand rolfing could be a little expensive, but you are investing in yourself. And I just hope everybody can see that you're investing in yourself.
absolutely, you cannot put a price on your health. Absolutely.
Hmm.
I agree. I would rather do without anything, you know, but my health, especially once you have a diagnosis such as cancer, you realize how your life, your health is so changed that you would do anything to maintain that health, to fix yourself. What got me there? Why did I create this in my life? What got me in this position? And uncovering how to heal yourself, because we can heal ourselves of all illnesses and disease.
Absolutely. And that's really where our power
Hmm.
lies, is when we really know that we can not only heal ourselves, but we've always been the healer and we've always been the power.
Absolutely. And that's what both of you do. You just have people remember that they are the love and they are their own healer. You're
Mhm.
just facilitating them to remember that it's all about them knowing how powerful they are to transform themselves.
Absolutely. And that's it. That's that cell memory of remembering your power.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And I think that's what you do, Anna, with your clients, because it goes back to the cell memory that we had before we took on all these negative emotions in the body. So the muscles go back to their original position they're supposed to be in the body, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Yep. And just the person realizing how to get rid of the stress or not let stress get in there and cause all these issues to begin with.
Hmm.
Well, that's the secret. Once you remove these, we don't want to keep adding more. What is the secret to not keep having trapped emotions in the body? What do you both say with that?
So the secret to
I
not
feel
having,
like
oh, sorry, Anna.
that's okay. Go
No, no,
ahead.
go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Well, I feel like once we learn how our bodies work and what food works for us and what kind of exercise or stretching works for us, and we learn how to not let stress in just by meditating or listening to music, just finding how it works for you and feeling your own body, I think that's where it's at.
Mm-hmm. That's excellent. Yeah, well,
What were
what
you
I've
gonna
seen,
say?
what I've seen with releasing trapped emotions is elevating our energy and seeing ourselves not as just this physical body, but seeing us as the energy that we really are, seeing that there's a divine purpose for our life that our soul has set out, and seeing that everyone in our life is a reflection of us, and that everything in our life is designed for us to remember that we're here not only for us to learn, but for us to help others learn and grow. So when I remember that, that helps me to release these trapped emotions, or help others to release it when they can see the bigger picture of who they really are. It really helps the energy to be released.
For me, what I have found on my journey work is once I feel how it feels in the body, not having these emotions in me and feeling the lightness and how much freer I am, as soon as there is a problem that would create stress or there's an emotion that's attached to it, instead of taking it on, I just kind of detach from it, look at it, and don't internalize it, where I used to internalize everything and grind on things for days or weeks, and then it gets lodged. Now it's like, okay, that bothers me. And I also think it's more speaking up to people.
Mm-hmm.
If they do something, not just taking it and swallowing it and, digesting it, saying,
Right.
I didn't like when you did that, or when you speak that way to me,
Yes.
it didn't feel good. So standing in your power as a person.
Yes. Absolutely, Holly. Activating that throat chakra, standing in your power, owning your truth, and being able to speak our truth. So
Right.
powerful.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Any final words, Anna?
No, I don't have any. Thank you for having me on this. I love it.
You're welcome.
It was such an honor to meet you.
Thank you for
You
coming
also.
on.
And as always, thank you, Holly.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you, Matt. And anybody that wants to investigate what ROLFING is, it's ROLFING, so that you can look it up properly. And it's a wonderful healing modality to add to being the most empowered you that you can be. Removing all trapped emotions is really the key to your health and happiness. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining Healing Through Love, and please stay tuned for future shows. And join us as we spread the power of love.